185 on this rainy Shabbat morning, taking a deep breath and just settling into your seats. For those who have powered through the rain and arrived here this morning, find your sacred center. For those who are joining us virtually, feel free to go to the PDF below the live stream link to follow services on our Sidur Mishkan Tefillah 185. I enter this sacred space to voice the longings of my heart in prayer. In sacred company, I offer my love to the Holy One. Together, I devote myself this morning to psalm and song, study and prayer. May my heart be lifted. May my thoughts be deepened. And may my soul, like the eagle, soar. 186. The invitation each and every morning, especially on Shabbat, to begin the day to rest with gratitude for the miracles abounding. Modeh ani Fanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam Modim Ani Lefanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam. 188, paragraph 2. Pitkuli Sha'arei Tzedek Avovam Odeya Odeya Itkuli Sharei Tzedek Avovam Odeya Odeya Itkuli Sharei Tzedek Avovam Odeya Itkuli Sharei Tzedek Avovam Odeya Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la la Ya la la Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya we don't take for granted. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you.
Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar umafli la'asod.
196, breathe in Nishima. Touch and breathe out Nishama.
Elohai neshama shenatata b'tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata b'tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata b'tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi. I offer thanks to you, O source HaShekhinah, and the source of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Baruch atah Adonai,
asher biyado nefesh kol chai, veruach kol besar ish. 198. The Israel Baal Shem Tov says the world is filled with signs and miracles, but we human beings get into the habit of taking our hands and covering our eyes, opening our eyes to the magnificent, to the miraculous, to what is possible. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech rivina lehavchin ben yom u'ben laila, for awakening. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim, for vision. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, for the ability to stretch. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim, for rising to the new day 200. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Roka haaretz al hamayim, for firm earth to stand upon. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver, for the gift of motion. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Malbisha Rumim, for clothing the body. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anotein la'ya'ef koach, for renewed enthusiasm for life. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, amavir sheina me'enai utnuma me'afapai, for reawakening. 202. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, Sovereign of the universe, who made me in the image of the One. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, Sovereign of the universe, who has made me free. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, Sovereign of the universe, who has made me a Jew. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, Sovereign of the universe, who girds Israel with strength. Amen. Praise to you, Adonai HaShekhinah, Sovereign of the universe, who crowns Israel with splendor. 204. Blessed are you, Adonai HaShekhinah, Sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Amen. 206. Elu devarim she'ein lahem shi'or, she'adam ochel perotehem ba'olam hazeh, ve'akeren kayemet lo la'olam haba, ve'elu hein. Honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, but the study of Torah encompasses them all, because it leads to them all. Amen. 213. Hareini mizamenet pi lehodot ulehalel uleshabeach et bori. With this do I prepare myself to thank, praise, and glorify my Creator.
Baruch atah Adonai melech mehulal batishbachot.
Amen. 215.
Hallelujah.
218, finding amazement, wonder, awe in every aspect of the world.
Hallelujah,
Bekacho, Hallelujah, Berkia Uzo, Hallelujah, Bevurotav, Hallelujah, Kerov Gudo, Kol HaNeshama Hallelujah,
hallelujah,
Hallelujah, Hallelujah, B'teik HaShofar, Hallelujah, B'nevel v'chinor, Hallelujah, Betov umachol, Hallelujah, Beminim ve'ugav, Kol haneshama tehalleluya, Hallelujah, 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 Betzilzalei shama, Hallelujah, Betzilzalei shua, Kol haneshama tehalleluya, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Kol haneshama tehalleluya, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Kol haneshama tehalleluya, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. 223. Yishtabach Shimcha le'ahad malkeinu, Ha'el hamelech hagadol ve'hakadosh b'shamayim uva'aretz, Ki lecha na'eh Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'emotenu, Shir u'shfacha halel v'zimra, Oz u'memshala, Netzach gedula u'gvura, Tihila v'tiferet, Kedusha u'malchut, Brachot v'hodaot, Me'ata ve'ad olam, Baruch ata Adonai, El melech gadol batishpachot, El hahodaot, Adon haniflaot, Habocher b'shirei zimra, Melech El chei ha'olamim. 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא תברח חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עולמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשה בריחו לעילם, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, Damiram be'alma b'meru. Amen. As you are able, we rise and open the door that is shut. 26. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. (228) Source of creation, I understand fundamentally that
There is movement and motion, energy and life in the universe that I do not create, that is beyond me, that is only in your hands. Help me to be a good steward so that I do all that I can do to be in balance with the earth, to live on this earth with humility, responsibility, stewardship for the earth, for future generations, and for those who are here right now. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Hameir la'aretz v'ledarim aleha berachamim uvtuvo, mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh Bereshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chokhma asita mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha ve'al me'orei or she'asita, ifa'arucha Selah 228, the last 3 lines.
Or Chadash, Al Tzion Ta'ir, 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 V'nizke Chulanu, Mehera Le'oro, V'nizke Chulanu Mehera Le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Baruch Shemo
Yotzer HaMe'oro.
231 in the middle of the page. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. And light blinded we saw that inner and outer worlds are one as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back and climbed again, your Sinai of life on the facing page, 230 in the middle.
V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dahabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yachet levavenu le'ahava u'lir'a et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki v'shem kodshecha, Hagadol v'hanora b'hatachnu, Nagila v'nismecha, Nagila v'nismecha b'yeshuatecha. Gather us in peace from the 4 corners of earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, HaShekhinah, work wonders. You choose us. Truly you drew us near to you. Great is your name that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Baruch atah Adonai habocher
Be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. As you are able, we stand together in oneness, 232.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Ha'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Ha'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto
כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
ברוך שם
כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
236. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם.
אני
אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. 241. Birkat Geula. And what is my lifespan? I am like a person gone out of Egypt. The Red Sea parts. I cross on dry land, the two walls of water on my right and on my left. Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me, and before me, the desert. Perhaps the promised land too. That is my lifespan, and with faith, with the moral compass, with the possibility of peace and healing, we walk through that desert and affirm, page 240.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. שירה חדשה, שבחו גאולים לשמך, על שפת הים. יחד כולם הודו והמלכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. צור ישראל
Tat Yisrael, Uvtechenu Mecha, Yehuda veYisrael. Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Gal Yisrael. Amen. As we turn to page 242, with a gentle and loving reminder to everyone who has graced us by being here in the sanctuary to protect one another, we're asking that everyone in the Beit Knesset wear their mask up above their nose and mouth. 242, we are invited to pray as if depended only on you. 242. Tiftach ufi yagir tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. La 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 la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. 244 for those who came before us.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'emoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah. 246, knowing the divine strength in our lives.
Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei metim ata rav lehoshia,
Mashiv haruach, umorid hagashem, mechakel chaim bechesed, mechayei beitim berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofech olim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umidom elach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lachayot meitim,
Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMetim. 248, for all that is kadosh, for all that is sacred and holy and amazing in our lives.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוכו הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר, שמך בכל ארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני, במקומו אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. Hallelujah.
Generation to generation, this legacy is communicated.
לדור ודור.
לדור ודור.
לדור ודור.
לדור ודור, נגיד קולך. ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי. Ad Ha'am says more than the Jewish people keep Shabbat. Shabbat keeps the Jewish people. It is a tanug, it is an oneg, 250. It is something to delight in.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, כעמדת ימין אותו גרעת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, Zecher למעשה בראשית שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת לי 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 לי
Eretz Atik. Right hand forward, left hand back. Starting with your right foot.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Face the middle. From the top. Holding your place of prayer as you are able, remain standing. Tfilat Amidah has a place where we all pray together, and there is place for each one of us to find our private prayer. The traditional tefillah continues through page 260. Locate the prayers you bring this morning. Find room for them. Dwell in them, become them, and when you have completed your prayers, work your way back to your seats.
Yehiu ratzon imrefi v'hagion libi lefanecha Adonai tzui v'gali Adonai tzui v'gali
258, a prayer for peace.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Yai, lai, 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 yai, 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 lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Sim, sim, shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha.
362.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai
ve'en kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch leolam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. 364, as you are able, please stand.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvar Adonai meYerushalayim.
366.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Praying responsively.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti, unromema Shemo yachtav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet, בני יצחק וההוד, כי כה בשמיים ובארץ, כי כה בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני המלאכה והמתנשא לכון ראש. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
So, good morning, everybody. Ellen is with us virtually. We're thrilled that she's with us virtually. She wasn't up to coming in this morning. She will be reading two of the Aliyot virtually. But we miss her and can't wait for her to be back with us. Just a reminder that we come into this sanctuary, and Alex and I, who have withered the 2 years with you being all virtual, last night, two of our congregants who we don't see as regularly came in and just said to us, my goodness, it was so amazing to be here in person. We are thrilled that we can be available for people virtually, and we're also thrilled when people find their way in. Just take a moment and just greet the people who are here. Introduce yourself. You guys are looking for Chumashim. Is that what I'm understanding? So just say hello to everyone. Good morning. Do you guys have a Chumash? I'm Rabbi Yael. We haven't met, have we? No, that's my first. Thrilled. So usually I always know everyone except for one or two people, and today that was true. Just thrilled that we can be here together. As you follow in the Chumash, please go to page 287. For the first Aliyah, I have the privilege of inviting Ginny Perrin, who is both going to have the honor of the blessing and the honor of reading Torah for us. Na la'amod Yael mibeit Yosef v'Malka la'aliyah harishona. Here's your bracha, my dear. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavrak le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Do you want me to go to the other side? Okay. I will.
Vayigash elav Yehuda Yomer Vei Adoni Yedaber na avdecha davar ve'oznei Adoni ve'el yichar afcha ve'avdecha ki kamocha kafaro Adoni sha'al et avadav lemor hayesh lachem av o ach vanomer el Adoni yesh lanu av zaken v'yeled zekunim katan אחיו מת, לא יוותר הוא לבדו, לאמו, לאביו אהבו.
Beautiful, Ginny. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher natan lanu Torah emet.
V'chayei olam nata
B'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
And you get to stay with us, and you can come right over onto this side. Thank you. In general, what we're asking is for photos. I know the reader. I am going to invite Ellen to both bless and receive the Aliyah. Na la'amod et mibeit Moshe v'Yocheved la'Aliyah ha'shenit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam
Baruch
va'ed.
Adonai Hamavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha bana mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vatomer el avadecha horidu elai v'asimu einai alai. Vanomer el Adoni lo yuchal hana'ar la'azov et aviv va'azav et aviv va'amed. Vatomer el avadecha im lo yered achichem hakaton itchem lo tosifun lirot panai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesher Kochech and Ellen. Yesher Kochech. So much strength. Thank you. I'd like to pause now for the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing, holding in you from home can send forth the names, and you here in the sanctuary, the names of your own loved ones who are in need of healing. Misha Berach Avotenu ve'emotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah U'yivarech et hacholim Claude Schleuder Arnie Zappel Ellen Futterman John Gaudier Joy Gross Richard Peruso. Audrey Cohn,
Michelle Kleber,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleichem Lachlimam U'Lerafotam U'Lachzikam Vayishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh U'Refuat HaGuf Hashtei Bagalav Vizman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. Evie Rosenthal, I'd love to honor you with the third Aliyah if you would. Just, we always say the Sandler's children, the shoemaker's children go barefoot, just to be able to recognize the members of our community who year in, year out, week in, week out, sustain this minyan, this shul, this synagogue. Na la'amot chava mi beit Yona v'tova la'aliyah ha'shlishit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher bachar banu mikol
b'chol
ha'amim
ha'amim
v'natan lanu et Torato.
Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Bar, the third aliyah is Ellen recorded.
Amen. Vayehi ki alinu el avdecha avi v'neged lo et divrei Adoni vayomer avinu shuvu shivru lanu ma'at ochel v'nomer lo nuchal la'redet im yesh achinu hakaton itanu vayatradnu ki lo nuchal lirot pnei aish v'achinu hakaton einenu itanu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata v'dochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yisher kochech. And for Glila, I would like to call P, and I'll call myself for Hagba. Na la'amod Hagba v'Glila. As you are able, please stand at this time.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
And put your hands up.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Siva lanu Moshe. Ki mitzion tei Torah, udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tei Torah, udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tei Torah, udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tei Torah, udvar Adonai Yerushalayim.
Feel free to sit at this point. As Alexandra leads us in the blessing for the Haftorah on page 372, you will be able to follow the Haftorah with me in your Chumash. So 372, of course, is your Siddur, and then in your Chumash, page 302, the Haftorah for Vayigash is from Ezekiel, and I am going to be reading, actually beginning on 303, Ezekiel 37, verse 24. Ezekiel 37, verse 24.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen. Ve'avdihi David melech aleihem v'ro'eh echad yeh לכולם ובמשפטי ילכו וחוקותי ישמרו ועשו אותם וישבו על הארץ אשר נתתי לעבדי ליעקב אשר ישבו בה אבותיכם וישבו עליה ודוד עבדי נשיא להם לעולם וחרתי להם ברית שלום ברית עולם יהיה אותם ותתים והרביתי אותם ונתתי את מקדשי בתוכם לעולם והיה משכני עליהם והייתי להם לאלוהים והמה יהיו לי לעם וידעו הגויים כי אני אדוני מקדש את ישראל בהיות מקדשי בתוכם לעולם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך וברוך שמו
מקדש השבת
Amen. So as we delve into our study this morning, just a gentle reminder that if you want to speak for yourself, feel free to get up and come to the microphone in the middle of the aisle. If you want to speak from your seat, that's wonderful. And if you do, I will repeat what you said in as close to one sentence as I am able so that the people who are also joining us virtually can remain part of our dialogue. Even if we can't hear them, they can hear us. I wanted to pick up this morning where I left off Tuesday morning. For those who study Torah with me on Tuesday morning, we really ended with this thing at 45:1, which you can find on page 288 of your Chumash, when we hear that Joseph, and now Joseph, lo haya, lo yachol Yosef lehit apek. Joseph couldn't hold it in anymore. He couldn't restrain himself. And this is where we're going to pick up. Last night I focused on the Judah in the beginning of the portion that Ginny and Ellen read so beautifully, the family constellation, making the case, what's going on with our responsibility to be honest with where we are. And now, for the first time, the brothers will meet knowing who Joseph is. The brothers have been meeting him, but they thought they were meeting the viceroy. And this is the moment where Judah, Benjamin, all of the other brothers reconnect with Joseph, who they assumed was gone forever. 45:1, now. Lo yachol Yosef lahitapek. Joseph could not hold it in any longer. He couldn't restrain himself in the presence of all who stood before him. So he called out, "Remove everyone from before me." Thus no one remained with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. Now, in that sentence, there are several things that are going on. And I want to begin by saying, what do you make of this idea, Lo yachol Yosef lahitapek? Joseph couldn't hold it in. He couldn't restrain himself. He couldn't control himself. What do you know from that word? What do you understand from that word? Does it surprise you at all, that word? Michael says it doesn't surprise him at all, and I'm going to say why. Why does it not surprise you? Well, there's been a dance going on, right? The brothers come down. He recognizes them. They don't recognize him. He sends them back. They bring back their brother Benjamin. He sticks something inside their things. He has his people arrest him. There's been an entire Shakespearean drama unfolding. So we're sitting and waiting for the other shoe to drop. We get it. Well, he too. This whole thing has been unfolding for him, or I might say, unraveling for him. And now it's come to a climax. So if nothing else, when you hear this word lehit apek, and this is where we left off on Tuesday morning, it's very intense. It's hitpa'el, Ginny, so it means what you give forth and you receive back. But it also is about what you can't, it's about yourself. It's intensive, you with you. There's a lot going on with Joseph. That's what I wanted you to hear from the word lihitapek. It's the highest, or the most intensive binyan, the most intensive Hebrew building block. Engagement with another, engagement with oneself. That's what I wanted you guys to hold with this word. And then what does he do? I just read the sentence to you. He sends everybody out, and he remains alone with his brothers. Tell me why that's meaningful. Tell me what is unfolding with that very act. He wishes to be intimate, Dave said. I'm going to repeat Dave's words. And for that to happen, Dave says, it's got to be just with them. It's got to be just with them. This is going to be a moment that it's going to be 4 eyes, or one might say 24 eyes. Well, right? It means just the brothers. Just the brothers are coming together at this moment. And he clears everybody, removes everybody else from this moment, from this engagement, from this intimacy. The next sentence says, and this is great, he cried in a loud voice, Egypt heard, and Pharaoh's household heard. So now, I want to ask you, these back-to-back phrases, Dave says, it's got to be intimate. And then he cries aloud, so loud that all of Egypt hears. And all of Pharaoh's household hears. So there are two ways I want to ask this question. Dave's laughing, I love this. Why, if there's such intimacy here, does the text make sure to tell us in the next verse that all of Egypt heard and all of the household of Pharaoh heard? Why do those two things stand close by? When I want to say something alone to my husband or to my children, I actually don't want you to hear it. That's my intimacy. So what's going on, and what is the text's agenda here? Evie?
Maybe he doesn't want Oli to know, but he wants his brothers to feel comfortable that he's just talking to them and not have to know everybody's looking at them.
I'm going to push you even farther. He wants everyone to know. And what Evie's point is, and he wants his brothers to feel protected. But when he sends everybody out, it's the opposite of not wanting them to know. That's what the Torah is telling you. Listen, all of Egypt. Listen, household of Israel. Listen to what? Listen to our personal baggage? Is that what he wants them to listen to?
It's his real identity.
This is my real identity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me show you why Jenny is so right. The idea here, well, I'm not going to actually, I'll show you this later. The idea here is that Joseph, what is it that he can't hold in anymore? His true identity. That's what he can't hold in. He is who he is. He changed his clothes, Jenny. He even changed his name. That's what we said last week when we studied Torah. He got a new name. He got a new identity. But Dugrit, we say in Arabic, bottom line, you are a Jew. Bottom line, this is who you are, Joseph. You can change your clothes. You can go out into all of the different clubs that are accepting you now. But at the end of the day, this is who you are. So don't ever imagine that moment of intimacy was an intimate moment. It was the opposite of an intimate moment. It was a moment where, yes, Evie, I love your point. He wanted his brothers to feel safe because, my gosh, he's experienced through this Shakespearean tale that has unfolded that they are so concerned, and it's not over yet. They don't feel comfortable yet. We're going to look at that next, Evie.
Rabbi?
Yes.
What about he gets that privacy and that's what allows him to speak his truth? That it's not that he's trying to make them comfortable, it's that he's actually comfortable, he's facing his brothers, and the reason that it rings out so true is because it can.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for pushing. Why do we even show up here? Why do we even show up here? Because it reminds us, for ourselves, of who we are. That we need this touchstone. We need this practice. We need Shabbat. We need Minyan. We need community so that we can fully lean into who we are and who we need to be. Maybe Alexandra is saying it's as much for him, or maybe even more for him, that he needs the intimacy in order to fully inhabit who he is. And he says to his brothers, and here comes the identity piece in verse 3, Ani Yosef, I am Joseph. And then he asks this question, this is his identity, and he says, Ha'od avi chai. Ha'od avi chai. Is my father still alive? Any questions that come up for you with that phrase? Is my father still alive? Dave? Ah, it's nice. Your father. Yeah, he's recognizing, he's owning his own responsibility to his father. Thank you, Dave. Beautiful. Ah, yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say to you is like when anything is really touchy for us at the house, I'll always say to Michael, and you've heard me say this, your son, and when I'm talking about near, or your daughter, Bar, and I'm making a point there, you know, or we had this very funny moment, and I said this morning before I left, don't tell my son, blah, 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 this morning. And I think that is my father still alive? I would say, why is he asking this? Vicky?
I just have a sense, and I think I'm probably wrong, but I think that he knows how devastating this loss of
Right.
hair was to his brother, to father. So he wants to reconnect and let his father know he's alive.
Yeah, Sforno agrees with you, Vicky, and says, well, let me just jump before I get to what Vicky was saying and say, look, you guys, he knows his father's alive. That's not what he's asking, right, Ginny? He knows his father's alive. That's what I want you guys to say to me. Is my father still alive? Come on. He knows his father's still alive. What's the question? He's been talking about his father, and Judah's been talking about their father. If we go back, and if we bring Benjamin, now the pshat is, you brought Benjamin down. Did my father still live? That's a pshat. But we don't really believe that. And the rabbis don't believe that, right? And so what Vicky said is, Sforno says to us, Vicky, how did my father even sustain the depth of grief that you've put him through? Tour says he knows his father's alive. He's asking, is he still vibrant, vigorous, right? The Ralbag, and I love this, it's not really questioning, is his father alive, as much as questioning the veracity of his brothers. Is what you're telling me really the truth? Because you know what? You've deceived me many times before. Are you leveling with me? Are you being honest with me? The family, remember I said last night when I opened my teaching, it's time to be honest, right? This is a family coming down to the honesty with one another. I want you to jump down to 45:4. Then Joseph said to his brothers, come close to me if you please. And they came close, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother. Okay, two things. Come close to me, and I am Joseph, your brother. Well, let's start with I am Joseph, your brother. Why am I a little thrown by that phrase right here? Because we just had it. He just said to them, I am Joseph.
It's because,
And now he's saying, I'm Joseph, your brother.
well, it's a reaction to them recoiling.
They literally, listen to what Alexandra's saying. They're standing in this room. He's weeping. He's telling them his identity. He's checking their veracity if the Ralbag is right. And literally, they're retreating. They're moving, they're like retreating into themselves because
They're uncomfortable,
they're uncomfortable. More than that, Alexandra.
vulnerable.
They're scared. They actually imagine this could be their end. You know, he's been playing with them like a cat plays with a mouse. And now it's the end. It could be their end. Here he is, and when I should have done this before. When he weeps, what do we know, Dave? Every time we study when someone weeps,
It's a revelation. It's a revelatory moment. It's not just the intimacy of being alone in the room with them. But listen, guys, I rarely cry in front of you. You know, I go through a lot of stuff. I go to a lot of funerals. I rarely cry at funerals. Doesn't mean I don't feel. But here, he could have been emotional, but he's weeping. It's a real sign of intimacy, and they're recoiling, right? They're recoiling. Now, it's interesting because in past years, I've used the word tzimtzum here with you, Dave. And tzimtzum is a Talmudic concept that contraction, that's right. If I want Ginny to have room, then I need to make myself a little bit smaller. It's a real interesting thing about any relationship. You know, Alexandra now, I was speaking to her parents this week, and this is her 3rd year with us. And I was reflecting on this, that she is truly a co-leader at this point. Not just because there are days that I'm not here, but she calls you to worship, and I'm quiet in the Baruch Hu, right? And she takes, but the way for that to happen, it doesn't matter how amazing her voice is, which I already know how amazing, it doesn't matter how true her neshama is as a leader here. In order for her to be a full leader, I need to get smaller. Not smaller, I get bigger as I get smaller. I don't get smaller like I disappear, but as I make room for her, she needs that room. She needs that room in order to be able to respond to you. This is what's happening with the brothers. They're getting smaller, and it's actually emboldening Joseph to reach to them, right? Up until now, there was a lot of words from Judah. Don't do this, do this, my father, my brother. And now, as he begins to reveal who he is, so they begin, well, right now they're just recoiling, but and the first one is, he says, I am Joseph. If we were going to write a midrash here, it would be like the Akedah. Take your son. What do you mean take my son? I have 2 sons, your only son. They're each the only son. One for this mother, Sarah, one for this mother, Hagar. The one you love, I love them both, right? Do you remember the Akedah, right? I am Joseph. Okay, hi, Joseph. I am Joseph, your brother. You know, maybe there's more than one Joseph in the world. Okay, fine, Viceroy, your name is Joseph. I am Joseph, your brother. I'm wearing my badge of sibling. I'm part of your family. I'm weeping. I'm clearing everyone else out. There's this intimate moment. David.
This is not the first time that it happens. Okay? When he's saying, I am Joseph and your brother, I think what the brothers think, I don't know what Joseph is thinking, but I am Joseph, who could cause you harm.
Yes.
But I am your brother who will not.
Beautiful, David.
Okay, this happens with Jacob when he meets Esau.
Right.
He says, protect me from my brother, protect me from Esau.
Beautiful, David. So let's go back and make sure everyone's with you. We knew Joseph, who I affectionately call the little pisher, right? We knew Joseph, as David's reminding us, who actually threatened his brothers in terms of usurping their father's love, their father's, the place in the family. Now when he comes back to them, this is his offering. This is his offering. I'm not just Joseph, that little pisher. I'm Joseph, your brother. He reestablishes himself as in balance with, it's like the difference of having a sibling
or having a sibling that's also your best friend, right? What that difference means is siblinghood is because our parents birthed us. Siblinghood is the relationship that we establish with one another. Those are very different things. David, fantastic. Okay, his reintroducing himself is an invitation to them. And I want to show you two more things. Look at 45:12, okay? 45:12. He says to them, well, first of all, the section I'm not going over that we did last year, it's not, listen, it's not you guys, it's not me, I'm over it. It was Pharaoh's plan in the sense of I needed to come down here and save all the Egyptian people. Okay, all of that happens. And then he says, behold, your eyes see, as do the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that is speaking to you. This is just a challenging and wonderful section. Behold, your eyes see, as do the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that is speaking to you. What does this mean? What does this mean? It is my mouth that is speaking to you. And it's hard, it's interesting. Well, I want you to know, as the commentators are speaking about this, they're saying the brothers still have not stopped recoiling. The word they use is dumbfounded. They're dumbfounded, and it's my mouth that's speaking to you, he says, right? It's my mouth that's speaking to you. This is just a general, it's almost pshat. It's not pshat, but it's almost pshat. He's speaking in Hebrew, say the majority of the commentators. Remember I told you Joseph gets a new name, he gets new clothes, he is the viceroy to the Pharaoh. He's this powerful man. Now he reintroduces himself, I'm Joseph, your brother. He's inhabiting his identity. And here, the rabbis like to say, he speaks Hebrew to them. And suddenly it's their sfat aim, it's their mother tongue. He's not speaking Egyptian anymore, He's not speaking Arabic anymore. He's speaking Hebrew. So he reveals who he is through that. Anyone want to comment, push back, ask? So it's interesting that
Who else would it be? Like, so it's me, your brother. Tell him, or tell that it is my mouth.
So the Rambam says he's still the viceroy. So
he's using his power?
He's basically saying to them, from my place of power, I'm telling you, you're okay. This is the bringing them back in, that's right. There's another piece here. Behold, your eyes see, as do the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that is speaking to you. So I don't know that it's necessarily the Hebrew, but as much as this sense, Dave, sorry. Yeah.
They probably Benjamin might see the similarity. Benjamin may recognize him first.
Yeah.
Because he is closer.
Or they may recognize him. I don't know if everyone heard what Dave said. He's actually a stepbrother with all the other brothers, with the exception of Benjamin. It's very insightful, Dave. It's beautiful. for those of us who raise melded families, I will always say to you guys, my 5 kids are so close with each other. It's true. And the 3 are also really close, and the 2 are also really close. And then there are these moments where we realize that all 5 of the kids have got this bond together. And then we blink, and there's still moments where we see it's these 2 and these 3. And so there's this piece that Dave's describing. Maybe you'll recognize me through my brother's eyes. You're so worried about your brother Benjamin. Well, he's my full brother and your stepbrother. Maybe look at our similarity. Or you can trust this siblinghood just as you have this connection with one another. We are okay. We have this connection, that thing that I'm telling you when all 5 of our kids get together. There is these moments in life where we all pass through together that forge the authenticity of a melded family's connection. And that's unfolding here right before our eyes. And then finally, in 45:15, then he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept. So he weeps a second time, but now. And Benjamin wept upon his neck. And then he kissed all of his brothers and wept upon them. Afterwards, his brothers conversed with him. And so now they finally come toward him, and this intimacy is ultimately forged.
I'm hung up on 12 in that I'm still trying to wrestle with when someone's speaking to you, you don't look to hear them. He doesn't say, hear what I'm saying, listen to me. And then when you brought in the thing about Benjamin, and then you started talking about your family, for me who is adopted, when I see families who have similar mouth or eyes, to me it's a connection of their familyhood. So maybe here, when he says, look, you can see with your eyes, it's my mouth speaking, we have something familial that you can see from our face, as with Benjamin. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, but I think you're making my point. I'm going to say, especially when you're sitting here, all of us are sitting here wearing our masks, right? And I was, on Thursday, I was in a nursing home with a senior residence with 2 women over 100. And they kept saying to me, they're totally with it, and they kept going to me, I hate that mask, take that mask down. And I said, I'm not going to take the mask down because I need to protect you. But guess what? I mean, I understand why, because of my age, I understand that half of what I hear from you, I hear by reading your lips. I get it, it's hard, but guess what? When this is up and I'm laughing, you can tell through my eyes. You can see my soul through my eyes if you can just take the time to listen. So I think actually what, also know one of the things also from having a family of adopted siblings from my family of origin, the craziest part is when my siblings who have a different my siblings who are African American look like our white parents. Like, how is that possible? Because it's not the nose or the mouth. It's actually the soul that comes forth from the eyes. It's not just that. It's actually that my siblings have my parents' mannerisms. And no matter how you turn it, every time I look at you, I see your parents in you, or you in your parents, right? It's so interesting because why people say they look so much like me is not because they look so much like me, but rather because we share this mannerism that comes deep from our soul that is not about the look. The joke I like to make is when Bar was really little, she would go, that person looks just like so-and-so. And we go, why? Because they have long, straight, blonde hair. We're like, Bar, you got to look at a little more than the long, straight, blonde hair because you're going to get lost that way, David.
You're speaking of adoption, and I'm an adopted parent also. And I saw something in loves it and cares for it as if it's their own, that child becomes their flesh and blood.
Yeah. It's very beautiful. It's very true.
And you, very interesting thing. I have a big jazz collection, you know. And my older daughter, she must have been about 9 or 10 years old. And you don't know what they really pick up without you saying anything. And I showed her these albums that I bought, but I showed them a lot of albums before. And one of the albums was Stan Getz, the saxophone player. And she looked at it and she said, I didn't know white people play jazz. All the albums, in her mind, from just watching everything, she thought that's only a black thing. You know, so they pick up from us, you know, what they see and what they hear and what they feel, without us saying anything.
At the end, when we break bread,
Yeah.
and I'm off of this virtual because I don't know everyone, remind me to tell you my nephew's adoptive story, which is a little in line with that. Michael?
My question is, doesn't this go back to the original Cain and Abel? Are you my brother's keeper?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same question over and over.
And this is the affirmation. We are responsible for one another. And this closes with this, you talk about this real, powerful coming together of intimacy. He and Benjamin unite, reunite, and then he goes to each of his brothers and he embraces choose to embrace our brothers, or we can retreat from our responsibility to one another, to the other, to our brothers. Yes, Michael.
Isn't this the family version of Here I
Give me one more sentence, meaning stepping up to the sacred.
So you say to God, Hineni.
Right.
You say to your brothers, Here I am.
Yep. I love it. I love it. And in 45:15, I just want you to hear these words, and this is just important to go to the Hebrew. In 15, V'acharechen, and after all that, he spoke. They all spoke. All the brothers spoke with him. V'achar kach, and only afterwards. So what we had here today is not just the Hineni moment, but the actual intensity of the unfolding of what makes it possible for us to engage in that dialogue. Identity, tzimtzum, making room for the other, willingness to show your identity to the others, but also to those on the outside, to lean into owning who you are, to step up to who you are, and that I don't wait for you to make me feel comfortable so that I can show up for you. I show up, and in doing so, it becomes possible for the healing to begin. 374, Yahalelu. As you're able, please rise. Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Odo al eretz b'shamayim, vayavrem keren le'amo, tehila lechol chasidav, livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu. Behold, I've given you a good teaching. Take it. Do not forsake it.
It's Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchenu am v'chol netivoteha shalom Hashiveinu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish, Chadish Yameinu Chadish Yameinu
For those of you who are paying attention and you recognize that last evening I forgot to speak the announcements, thank you for paying attention. I appreciate it. And a gentle reminder to everyone, all of the announcements that I will say today and more are on our website and on our weekly This Week and Beyond. Please join our congregation, or actually, this is actually a membership thing. Please, all members are asked to join our Zoom congregational annual meeting at 1 p.m. I'm working to make certain that we're out of here by noon so everyone can get home, get a little bit of tea in them, and maybe some lunch in time for the congregational meeting. We will review all that our board and community have been working on this past year, as well as planned for the coming year. Your participation is what makes our community thrive, so please join us. Tomorrow, this is a big deal. Religious school is online. There's nothing wrong. There was no COVID scare. It is actually our religious school director and the ed committee wants to do an exercise online so that we are prepared both for a snow day and or if during the winter months we do need to cancel, we want to make sure that all of our virtual communication for our religious school is working. So 9:30 online only tomorrow. If you show up tomorrow and bring your kid to the Zimit Learning Adventure, then that might be a message that you're not reading the announcements that are coming to you. All week next week, all of my classes are open to everyone. They are happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Please get online, look at all the options, and join us. Including this week, it is Chai with the Rabbi. If you want to have coffee with me Thursday morning at 8:45. Next week, Tuesday evening, Brotherhood will be meeting on December 14th. This is always open to new members. In fact, they are very excited by new members joining Brotherhood. If you would like to join with them, please reach out to Jeff Greenberg, our president of the synagogue, or to the main office. Our monthly board meeting, Thursday, December 16th at 7 p.m. And next Friday, Kabbalat Shabbat will be at 7:30. I will be here on the Bima with our rabbinic intern, Jack Sherritt. This will be his first Shabbat that he'll be delivering the teaching Friday night. I'll do the teaching Saturday morning. I am encouraging the whole congregation to show up. He's just a wonderful addition to our clergy team, and I'd love him to be supported next Friday night at 7:30. Next Saturday, December 18th, I'll be here at 9 a.m. for Tat Shabbat, and then, of course, Jack and I will continue with the morning Minyan at 10 a.m. We're giving Alexandra a Shabbat off. CEHV's Food Access and Security Initiative is continuing. Please make sure that you include the Blue Fridge in your weekly grocery shopping. They really need staples in these winter months: oil, flour, sugar, seasoning, and we are continuing with fresh fruits and vegetables. Grab a bag on the way out with the address, or get online and see how you can be part of this. And finally, we are trying to direct our congregation's attention to the new family that has been settled in New Paltz from Afghanistan, the Afghani family. Go to New Paltz 4, the number 4, refugees.org, to read about this beautiful family that has found haven in our Hudson Valley. Let's all be a community and help them to be sustained here. At this moment, it is my understanding that what they mostly need is monetary support, and little by little, as they get settled in their permanent residence, there'll be multiple ways for us to be able to be supportive of them. I am thrilled to be sharing the Minyan with those who came in person. A reminder to all of you who are joining us virtually, it is very, very safe here. Everybody in the pews, everyone in the congregation keeps their mask up over their nose and mouth throughout the services. We are also socially distancing at least 6 feet from one another, and we have HEPA filters. So as you are ready to join us in person, one of our wonderful congregants last night who watches virtually but came in last night for a yard site said, it's not the same virtually. I know it's great virtually, but it's really different to be here and to be together. So we look forward to everyone joining. Thank you to Vicki for being our greeter today. An incredible thank you to you, Barry, for each and every Friday and Saturday making live stream happen. And a Yesher Kochech to our Alexandra Schleuder, who lifts our spirits each and every Shabbat with her incredible spirit. We are with Carmel Gold on the recent loss of her mother's husband, Richard Vitalich. We are with the Rothblatt and Fleischer families on the recent loss of Leslie Fleischer. And we are with Dave and Evie Rosenthal on the recent loss of David Lieberman. For all of you in the congregation who are observing your Shana, your year of grief, I have your names here, and I am holding you very much in our prayers now. So too do I ask that we turn our attention to loved ones who died in this season in years past, whose yard sites are being observed. Morris Adato, Risa Adato's father. Julius Appel, Ray Cohen Birnbaum, Deborah Brenner, Paul and Adele Ryder's mother, Harold Brewer, Michael Brewer's father, David Britschke, Sandy Giordano's father, Elaine grandfather, Fanny Sidransk Gross, Sherman Crowitz, Toby Crowitz's husband, Michelle Myrna Sherman, Michelle Etner's mother, Joseph Levine, Nancy Levy, Richard Levy's mother, Albert Mandel, Honey Fine's father, Bernard Solomon, Bob Brackman's uncle, Morris Solomon, Nettie Weintraub, Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. Page 592. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old people who wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for the other walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than sounds or words. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish 598. It is our tradition to stand together shoulder to shoulder as you are able and as you choose, to support those who are saying Kaddish and to speak for those the martyrs of our people who left no one to speak for them, to say Kaddish for them, and for those children, those innocent children that we are still reeling from, that I spoke about last night, victims of senseless gun violence. We weave them into our prayers. We can do better. We must do better. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol b'nei Adam ve'imru. Amen. 625. This is an Israeli mangina, an Israeli melody that Alexandra has come to love as we pray Adon Olam. Allow yourself to feel the magnitude, the beauty of the sacred, the beauty of this day.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra. Nasa v'chetzot kol Hazai melech Shemo nikra Ve'acharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nora Ve'hu haya Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chetzot Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nora Ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh v'tifara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chetzot Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nora Ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh v'tifara Ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh v'tifara. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam Oti le'olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat L'dorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash
Vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Savri. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody.